I no longer call screen from calls that might be spam because maybe I can make a friend. Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star Telegram, Engel Angle podcast here on the Sunset Lounge. Thank you very much for joining me. I decided not to take this week off. I don't think I took last week off either. I keep telling myself I'm going to take a week off, but I haven't, and I should. I have a lot of good guests coming up for the podcast that I'll roll out here over the next, month or two. Something to look forward to. Before I get to that, I want to share with you something that I decided to give a try several years ago and to talk about here today, which is the importance of exercise. When I was a kid, I always thought, well, I shouldn't say I thought, I got told a lot I was fat. A lot. By my own family members and whom I love and other people too. I can still remember that. So I kind of grew up thinking, well, I was always fat and overweight and unattractive and all those things. And as I got older, I realized, no, I probably wasn't, but I thought that. And what I realized is, even though now that I'm crossed over 50, the right side of 50, is that in your formative years, if that's what you see, then it's going to take a long time to unsee that. And I think a lot of times people think the mirror is just a female issue. It's not. That is a total misconception. It's also a male issue. Men can have body dysmorphia or whatever else. Men can be just as vulnerable to feeling bad about themselves based on what they see on social media pictures. Guys working out, professional athletes, models, actors, whatever. And well, I should look like that. Well, probably not. It doesn't mean doesn't mean anything bad, but those guys are professionals and it's their job and they have the time to put in to look like that. Or sometimes they might even have the money to have surgery or do God knows what else. Don't compare yourself to that standard. Don't. What you should try to do, I've learned, is to take advantage of what God gave you and to make the most of that at any age. 50 is not the new 40. 40 is not the new 30. 30 is 30, 40 is 40, 50 is 50. I can't do anything to look any younger than I am. No one can. Because even if you go out and do all these different surgeries, people are going to sit there and figure out immediately what you've done. And they're going to make the mathematical adjustment in their head to say, okay, this person did this procedure and that procedure, so that means they're probably really this age. You didn't really fool anybody. Didn't fool God, didn't fool the mirror. You're just fooling yourself. So don't do it. Instead, what I decided was, however many years ago, was to try to take care of myself, to take advantage of whatever God gave me, and to look as good as I can for my age, I guess. Because I do believe how you do look, and if you take care of yourself, it will have a tremendous effect on your overall mental well-being. And so however many years ago, I kind of got into it, and I'm not a workout freak. I'm not a weightlifting guy. I just very active, and it's become very, very important to me, and I really push for it for other people because I really do believe if you are active an hour a day or whatever, it will solve some of the issues that might be floating around in your head. Not all of them, but a decent amount of them. And in that process, I have an oldest brother, or I did, God rest his soul, who was a personal trainer. And one time he gave me some advice and he said, why are you working out? What are some goals that you want to achieve? So I would set these little goals to go about to see if I could do them, whatever it was. So at first, I think like anybody else, my idea of workouts and exercising probably didn't really do much. Let's just say, for example, I went fishing. See a little video here of me pulling in a 7,800 pound catfish. This was a couple years ago. I caught this beast Pretty proud of myself. And you know why I'm proud of myself? Because I caught that fish on the day I learned I had a torn right bicep. Tom Brady never did that. Michael Jordan didn't do that. Flu game my ass, catching a wild beast in 35 degree weather. And I brought that thing in on a torn bicep. The term hero gets thrown around a lot, sometimes in the wrong place. This is not one of them. Played a lot of basketball, still doing that, much to my own physical detriment. There's no real video of that. And if there is video of me playing basketball, please contact me so I can give you money to have it destroyed. You can see me burying jumpers here at the Hoosier Gym in Knightstown, Indiana. It was a solid stroke right there. So back in 2020, you might remember a little fun time called COVID. Remember that? I worked out all the time. I figured out ways to do it. I got pretty good at it. And one of the things, there was a local park and I would bike down to it. And I was that weirdo guy working out by himself. And I came up with this whole routine myself. And I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 10 slow pull-ups. Now, for the longest time, it didn't matter what I did. My upper body, I just couldn't lift anything. I'm not being literal, but I just couldn't do anything. And this is one that I really wanted to do. I was like, well, this is a good goal. I can go out and really try to see if I can do it. And I slowly, progressively, now this was in the summer of 20, and I would slowly, progressively get a little closer. Now, a pull-up is a really hard thing. A chin-up is even harder. I couldn't even do those. So I set a goal. I'm like, I'm going to get to 10. That was my thing. I'm going to get to 10. This took me forever. In fact, I was nice enough to document this momentous, historic event. Okay, goal is 10. I'm sitting on 9.5, 3 out of the last 4 times. So let's see. It took me 4 fucking months. So there's that. One thing I really got involved with that I loved, and I highly, highly recommend this to anybody, which are boxing workouts. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'm not a boxer. You don't have to be a boxer. This is one of the great exercises that exists out there. You can get out some aggression, feel good about yourself. It's a lot of fun. As you can see here, I was working out with a kid. This was a ton of fun. I highly recommend it. I enjoyed that. One thing I took up during that process was jump rope. I know when you watch jump rope, you're like, oh, anybody can do that. No, that takes some real practice. And as you can see in this scintillating video, that I got pretty good at it. I did. I could do cross and blah, blah, blah. So that's great. But, and now recently I decided, you know what, I'm gonna swim. I could swim, but I wasn't any good at it. So I paid somebody $75 for 3 sessions to teach me how to swim properly. Worked on 3 different strokes: freestyle, breaststroke, and the backstroke. And as you can see here in this video, I don't think I've quite nailed the backstroke yet. It is my intention and ambition to find a nation that does not have a swimming pool. And I think I actually found one someplace in Asia, one of these tiny countries. And I want to represent them in the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Go ahead and laugh all you want. You got to have a goal. But I'm thinking I might have a shot at it. My problem now in swimming is that my goggles kind of get full of water. My ears get full. So I usually at 25 yards, just go down and touch the wall. I have to clear my stuff and then go back. And that may be a problem in Olympic competition. But, you know, I'm optimistic. So I've shared with you all of these little different things that I've done. So now we are here for the big one. I have come across on Instagram lots of different workouts and exercises. I'm sure tons of people do. I save them, and I might try this one, and I might try that one. And some of them work pretty good, and some of them aren't. But I came across one. I was like, oh, I got to try this. Pardon me. I was like, I got to try this. Like this, I can do. Let's see if I can even do it. Which is why we're here today. I will share with you momentarily my attempt to do Livvy Dunne's ab workout. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Before that, it's time to do a little business. That is a mention to you that all of the shows here on the Sunset Lounge are free. That is, make sure you go to patreon.com/Sunset Lounge DFW. This includes Shippy and Groobs, the Clubhouse featuring Rob, Alex, and Don, Engel Angle. Thank you. Stay seated. Beer 30 Sports O'Clock with Ziggy. He's very excited because football season is starting, or at least football practice. Al Maximo, football, soccer, F1. This is our Spanish-speaking show featuring Victor Villalba. I feel really bad. I've been mispronouncing that name for quite some time. Victor Villalba. He's the Spanish voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Vaqueros, the Mavericks, and he is joined by my good friend, Mr. Carlos Nava. ESPN Deportes. I couldn't do it right. Reporter for NFL, MLB, NBA, boxing, boxeo, and soccer. Remember, the Sunset Lounge is free. Click the free member button at the top of the membership page to join. All of our shows are free, as well as Your Dark Companion with Mr. Mike Reiner and the triumphant return of Mr. Norm Hitzges, who has joined the Sunset Lounge. It's really nice to see Norm again. Norm is a fixture of the DFW sports media scene forever. And Mr. Reiner and the crew decided to recruit Mr. Hitzges to come on back and lend us his expertise. And I do wonder one thing. I should ask Norm this. I need to ask Norm this. How money have you lost gambling in your life? One other thing to mention before I get to the hilarity. Your Dark Companion in the Sunset Lounge continues to be at all Frisco Rough Riders Thirsty Thursday games throughout the season. And with our special code, you can be there too with us. You can get a ticket that is preloaded for $6 off any drink or concession there at the stadium. That's in Frisco. Please go to ridersbaseball.com/specials. Use the following code. Let's Ride 25 to access this offer. Join us for a drink in the Bull Moose Saloon as the game begins, and then you can spot us at the bottom of the lazy river, into the stands, or maybe just wandering the crowd looking for money. That's every Thursday home game. Thirsty Thursdays. Quench your thirst on Thursdays with Your Dark Companion, the Sunset Lounge. We've got about a month and a half left of minor league baseball season. So make sure to check us out when you can. Okay, this is what you came for. Let's see how I do with Livvy Dunne's ab workout. Now, in case you don't know who Livvy Dunne is why NIL was created. She was a high school recruit out of New Jersey, I believe, who went to LSU to be on the gymnastics team. And shortly thereafter, she wisely tapped into a market that we had no idea existed, and that is TikTok and social media. And as she has effectively become the poster child for how to do it right as an NCAA athlete to monetize your platform, your fame, and your name, image, and likeness into potentially a lot of money. Now, let's not fool ourselves. She did it because she's an attractive young female, and she's essentially a model. No judgment. It's fine. It's all good. But that's what she did. If you looked at her athletic career, she was a Division I gymnast. That's nothing to sneeze at. She was a Division I gymnast. That's pretty good. Now, she was not an enormous part of those LSU teams. In fact, you could even make an argument that her real value to the team was more as a brand ambassador than it was for anything that she did on the mat. She did deal with some injuries, but all credit to her for recognizing a possibility that a lot of people didn't even know existed. And Livvy Dunne did NIL the way it was intended. All credit to her. And now she's famous and she's got endorsement deals. She was a model for Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue recently. She does all these videos and all this other junk, so good for her. But one of the things that she does is she apparently put on a workout video of her ab routine. Now, this is a young woman who was an NCAA Division I athlete. So needless to say, I'm not fooling myself how this is going to go. But I watched it and I thought, I wonder if I can do that. Enjoy this. Now, this workout isn't long. Ab workouts don't last long. And I come more from the Norm Macdonald school about six-pack abs, which is, what's the point? I'm not going, unless I starve myself for about 2 weeks and just do crunches and deadlifts and whatever else constantly, I'm never going to get a six-pack abs. So I'd rather drink a six-pack and enjoy that than go through the hell and torture to get those abs. Because what's the value? Okay, it's a 1 minute plank with hip taps, followed by a tricep V up, 3 sets of 15. And then when you're done with that, it's a hanging leg lift. You do 20 hanging leg lifts. And what Livvy Dunne says is that she tries to see how many she can go over 20. So without further ado, I recently did this. And appreciate the man in the arena. Okay, so what did we learn here today? It's a good question. I'm glad you asked it. We learned that I won't be on the LSU women's gymnastics team next season. But you got to have goals.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.